All right. We will now call to order the regular meeting of the Village of Middleville Council. May we have roll call, please?
Kevin Smith,
Here.
Robert Bishop,
Here.
Tracy Gillespie,
Here.
Richard Hamilton,
Here.
John Osterban,
Here.
Mackenzie Peters. Here. Ann Williams, absent.
I'll make a motion to excuse trustee Ann Williams.
Support.
We have a motion with support. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Could we please all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Any glaring changes to our agenda that you need to make?
You do have.
Should have an amended agenda.
Yeah.
All right. We do have an amended agenda.
I will make a motion to approve the amended agenda, which includes item C under new business DPW vehicle purchase.
Support.
We have a motion with support. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. All right. And the consent agenda. Stand by, please. Please stand by.
I'll make a motion to we accept the consent agenda.
Support.
Okay. Stand by. I'm scrolling. Thank you.
It's up on your screen too, Mr. President, if you want to look there too.
Yeah. Only if you,
Make it
only if
bigger.
you have, okay, actually, here we go. We have approval of the consent agenda. It's sitting right in front of me. You can't make this stuff up. We have approval with a motion of support for the consent agenda, approval of minutes for the regular council meeting of April 22nd, 2025, and approval of bills for May 8th, 2025 for $320,753.44. Ron, I may please have a roll call.
Ann Williams, Robert Bishop,
Aye.
Tracy Gillespie,
Aye.
Richard Hamilton,
Aye.
John Osterban,
Aye.
Mackenzie Peters.
Aye.
Kevin Smith.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, we're going to move on to public comment. Just want to review a few ground rules. The Village of Middleville recognizes the value of public comments and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on any issue. Members of the public may address the presiding government body during public comment for up to 3 minutes. Speakers will be recognized by the presiding officer and are asked to state their name and group affiliation if applicable. As a reminder, all comments shall be directed to the presiding board and not to staff or other participants. No participant may speak more than once. Participants may not behave in a manner that is disruptive to the orderly conduct of the meeting. Public comments are not responded to during the meeting. At this time, we will begin public comment.
Good evening. Rick Moore, not related to any other Moores. Craig's heard this hundreds of times. I'm a founding board member of the Thornapple Trail Association, and I used to do the maintenance on the trail until I got my leg lightly crushed in a logging accident, and so the village took over that. And I just wanted to say the trail has recently been cleaned out a little wider and has done a wonderful job. It looks like you've got a brush hog that goes offset of the tractor a little bit, and it has mowed the trail, and so it keeps the potential for ticks and fleas from jumping on people. When I first mowed the trail from Stimson to 108th Street, people complained a little bit because they liked the little narrow trail until I explained by making it 12 feet wide, the ticks won't jump on them. And then they just love the trail. And so 99% of the time when there's a problem on the trail, they just need a little education. The obvious things. Those snake skins will not hurt you. I'm glad you've finally seen those for the first time in your life, but no, that's perfectly fine. And we also recently paved the trail through Nashville with ARPA money. And now the folks in Nashville that used to chase me with their wooden guns now love the trail and use it continuously and wish to extend it farther to the west. And then we'll have to have a crossing around 79. The Barry Roubaix is a main moneymaker for the Trail Association. And we've recently heard about your upgrade to the Paul Henry Trail through here. And so we're accumulating money to apply for grants and get that kind of thing, to get the ball rolling, to help more, because we all have to work together to make this county better than it was before. That's why we were born here, to make it a little better. That's my goal in life, to try to continue this trail as far as possible. So anything I can do to help. And I just wanted to let you know, gosh, you guys have done a wonderful job on maintenance recently. And the trail's getting a little rough, but there's a solution to that. You know, you grind it up and put some more fresh asphalt and lay it back down again. It's not like it was many years ago when the county offered to pave the trail from McCann Road to Irving Road for $66,000. And I wouldn't even get a parking lot done anymore.
Right.
So let's get the job done. And I'm sure I've burned through my 3 minutes here, but whenever I speak in front of a podium, Reverend Rick pops out and it's hard to shut up. So thanks again for all the wonderful things you do, because I know when you're involved in politics and you want a friend, you have to get a dog, because you just never know. And yes, I love your system here. It's so much better than the county system right now, because every Tuesday I have to remind them, speak into the microphone or use your outdoor voice. And they still, and so thank you all for doing a wonderful job. And I'll try to shut up now. I'm Rick Moore and I support this message.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
And by the way, Rick, Nashville's my hometown and those guns are real.
Mr. Rickard,
How we doing?
good. How are you?
Good. So I have to scoot off to a band concert to watch. That's been an interesting thing this year, because you guys know I retired last year. So Catherine Getty and I were together for another event maybe a month ago, and she said, "Hey, you live in the village?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Guess what we need?" So I'm item 12B, I believe, on your agenda tonight. And because I have to scoot out to the band concert, she thought it might be a good idea for me to come and introduce myself to those of you who don't know me. So my name is Ray Rickard, and I have been the band director at Middleville for the last 27 years. And I moved to the village in 2018, but of course we've been involved, since I started here. And so now that I'm retired and I have a little bit more time, I agreed to apply to be on the Thornapple Area Parks and Recreation Commission. I will tell you, I do have a little bit of experience in community recreation. When I first started teaching in Illinois, I worked with the city parks there with their baseball and softball leagues for the little kids. So I have a little bit of experience there. And I don't necessarily have an agenda, but I do have a couple goals. And I thought you might want to know those. Rick, I love Rick, but I've never met him, but I love the guy, right? So one of my goals, as I explained to Catherine, would be to do whatever is necessary to get the trail connected to Hastings and to 108th Street. I mean, if we do that, you could ride from Hastings to John Ball Zoo, but with all that trail system. So that would be a goal for me. Another goal for me would be to get some pickleball courts in Middleville. Number one sport in America right now. It's rising so fast, and everybody loves it. Everybody who plays is addicted, and we don't have any pickleball courts. So I think that would be a goal of mine as well. So I know there's a meeting on the 21st, I think. And so I've read all the stuff that Catherine has sent me, and I'm anxious to get started. So I just wanted those of you who don't know who I am to put a face with a name, and that's about it. And I don't want to be rude, but I'm going to scoot out so I can go to the band concert. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Rickard,
you.
and enjoy that concert. All right. Well, thus ends public comment. We're going to move on to the next agenda item, which is Mr. Beck, the Lions Club.
Hello and good evening, council.
Good evening.
So I'm Andrew Beck. I'm here on behalf of the Lions Club, and we're talking about fireworks again, 4th of July, 2025. As we all know, it's a community event put on by our community, literally the DDA, the village, the township. That major collaboration is what it's become and what it's grown into, and that's just absolutely wonderful. I've met with the other two entities, the township and the DDA, as I met with you guys a couple weeks ago. The DDA has decided that they were going to commit their funds to their district inside their lines. The ASO soccer fields are outside of their lines. They're not backing out. It's still a full community event as we know it. I am working with Cassandra Clarks to ensure that the events as we would normally perceive them to happen are going to happen. It's just that the Lions Club will no longer be a middleman for that process. They can handle it themselves with the resources that we have. It's completely mapped out. So last time I was here, I requested that the village would agree to a 3-year commitment of $4,000 per year. With what is happening with the DDA, and I stand on the civility. I have no bad words about this because they're still very much involved. Is that number would change to 6,000. And I met with the township last night, and I'll tell you, cards on the table, this is what we've agreed to with the the Lions Club has agreed to with the township. $6,000 per year for the next 3 years. That covers 25, 26, and then 27. Between 27 and 28, we believe that an entity, a permanent entity, the village, the township, would be able to take over the fireworks event as Middleville knows it. Now, what does that mean? I'm going to explain that a little bit. First of all, it comes with me. Okay? I can run it. I can do it. We can whatever. However that looks. Train up, build somebody into the position over the next 3 years or at the end of those 3 years. I also hope that between entities, there's still a relationship, that this is a community thing and that everybody financially supports it the best that they can. I suspect this year for just the events that are up at the soccer fields, right? Because the DDA will handle what's going to happen down here during the day. Whole different conversation. So I suspect it will cost $14,157. $7,000 of that is automatically fireworks. Now, I know not all of you know this, so I'll just go through it. We would typically pay $23,000 worth of fireworks and end up purchasing them at $7,000. We are using a company this year, and they are fully encompassed employees, insurance, and a fireworks show that is comparable to what we do. I have watched footage with them. I've explained to them what we expect. And they have wrapped that up into $7,000. So the price of the fireworks hasn't changed. It's just that a company is going to take over it. What does that mean? It's their insurance. It's not Lions Club insurance. It's their insurance. They're committed to us just like the rest of the businesses that have participated in this in the past, who come with their own waivers. So there's no liability that could fall neither on the Lions Club or an entity that takes it over at this point. It's mostly phone calls and a couple emails. I'm really hoping that the village can do as the township has done, and we'll know in this next 3 years that an entity will, one, either take it over, or the obvious, it would fade. I believe that it as an event has proven itself. And like I said, any entity that would be willing to commit to it, I am more than willing to support as a volunteer and make sure that it can keep going. Our community absolutely embraces it, I do believe. With that, I will end my spiel, and any and all questions, please.
Mr. President, if I may.
One quick second.
Yeah.
We have contributed to the fireworks show in the Lions Club in this, which has grown, from what I understand, significantly since its inception. We've committed annually regardless.
Mhm.
Is that correct?
Mhm.
And just to be clear, you're asking for 4,000 annual for the next 3 years. Is that accurate?
With what the information that I've been provided from the DDA and the commitment of the township is at 6,000. And I believe because it's 14,000, so hypothetically, if the village did 6,000 and the township is committed to 6,000, that brings us to 12. Bradford White has been, and they asked for no recognition, but they have been a proud sponsor of $2,000. So that would get us to the $14,000. And then I can usually get about $750 from the local businesses in the community that have partnered with this from the beginning. So I keep those margins as tight as I possibly can. And I think that we could keep this at the next 3 years, the amount of finances for the next 3 years. And because we don't work with a ton of companies, we've kept it very small. And we've told them we want you back year after year. And what does that mean? That means they bring in laser tag, archery tag, axe throwing. They set it up, they take it down, they bring their own waivers. We'll be posting this online, all things considered, that you can sign up and fill out your waiver beforehand, so you're not doing it in line, because it's free. As many Middlevillians as we can get through there as possible, right? I mean,
So 6,000 is what you're looking
Yes,
for from the
yes, sir.
village? Is okay. All right.
yes, sir, 6,000 per year for the next 3 years. That team up will be with the township, and those finances will be used at location of events and fireworks, ASO soccer fields.
Got it.
And the DDA is still supported with the Lions Club, and we'll be putting on, I believe we just locked into our DJ. I just got the invoice for the bounce houses down here. I've already spoke to Chief Richardson about bringing out a fire truck while the people are down here. Kona Ice will be down here. And of course, any business that would like to partner, do their own thing, either sidewalk chalk, temporary tattoos, a bubble station, something for the kids, something for the community. Always welcome.
So just to be clear, out of that 14K, 7,000 of that will go to the company that's going to stage not just the fireworks, but also multiple recreational events. And is that all going to be up at the ASO fields as well?
Yes, but the fireworks is their own entity. They'll take the 7,000, and Lions Club is still responsible for setting up. It's Battle GR is the company that brings the laser tag, archery tag. I'll also touch base with the church, who usually brings out their monstrous mountain climbing. You have to put on harnesses. I don't know. I don't touch it. I'm scared of heights.
Okay.
I know I'm kind of tall. But
So at the end of the day, there should be invoices to turn in, if not quotes that we could get ahead of time.
yes,
Okay.
correct.
So I'm okay with approving this as long as we receive those, either after purchase, if they don't do if they don't do quotes, or getting quotes prior to purchase. So that way we have trackability, and I'm sure we've done that in the past.
Yeah, the only one thing that we have difficulty with tracking year from year is the band, because we pick a live band. Last year it was Blue Cats. I've only heard great reviews of them. So this is the first time we're welcoming a band back 2 years in a row. We've had people known as like Macy Crew, who was on the same show, and that literally is about the only part that needs to grow for this event. We have enough events. The lines are small enough still. A better band would be wonderful, but bands are quite expensive.
Sure. Okay.
I guess I have a couple, and you're saying that this company is gonna agree to stick to that price for 3 years? How can they?
Right,
How can they say
exactly.
3 years?
Nobody, sir, has what we have. Nobody. There is not a community that is able to put on a fireworks show, free events, all of it. It's quite the blessing. And that's how we started it out, though, was that nobody will make $1 at this. It'll all go back to the people that live here. And that's been our focal point, and that's how it's been developed and designed. It's incredible. You would literally spend $23,000. And now this year we have bigger fireworks. And it's on their insurance, and it's on their employees. It's all in their hands. We've designed this to be a well-oiled machine. It's just come to a point where the finances, I have to go before so many boards. The Lions Club has to go before so many boards and get so many people to commit to it that it would be better in an entity. The village isn't going away. The township's not going away. How you come up with that, I'm just trying to give us 3 years to talk about it.
What, if I may, Craig, what do you need for us to do to move this along? Would you like it to be on an agenda item next meeting, or?
Whatever council wants to do. If you want to approve something now, if you want to ask for more information and do, put it on a subsequent agenda,
That's
however you want to move forward.
Yeah, it's a fantastic event. I've been there several times over the course of the years,
Yeah, unless the board objects, I'd just like to move forward with it. I mean, we contribute about the same amount of money every single year that we've done it, so it wouldn't be any different this year. So
It'd just be instead of 3,000, it'd be 6,000 is what he's
Yeah.
asking for.
it is a little bit more, but I think in all fairness, it's a bigger event, and we have obviously more residents that come and visit it. We get a lot of people from surrounding areas as well that enjoy it as well. So,
Oh, that was my question. I'm sorry not to interrupt.
no, that's
Who's
fine.
promoting it? Us or them or?
Everybody. So the fireworks company will promote on their websites. The DDA will promote on their site. If the village, all things considered, promote on your site. Township on their site. Lions Club on their site. And then obviously there's, I'm not really a Facebooky person, but Misty Ridge has, or Middleville Chatter, but then like each subdivision has its own little chatter. We'll put it out everywhere. The word of mouth, though, is what really stands out. And we've never, because we have a band, we've just kind of left it like, hey, work the crowd, talk to them, do what you want to do. But it is definitely a platform. We keep all politics out of it, but obviously, sir, you were elected. If you wanted to say something, speak at that time, at any point, that very fine. I mean, however we can promote our community, because it's everybody. It's always been the DDA, the village, and the township. That's what it's been. That's been, and then the people that don't want recognition, of course. But yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, I was just gonna cut to it and make a motion to,
Can you tell them how to phrase the motion, though?
Sure.
Yeah, actually, I think let's do the motion. I think should be commitment of 6,000 for 3 years.
To the Lions Club.
To
for
the Lions
4th
Club.
of July. event.
Yeah, how does it have to
Yeah.
read to that? Does that say contracted or
Yeah,
something like that?
Yep.
With,
So we'll have to we'll put together a contract with it and stuff like that.
And then
so
it
is
could-
it just a recommendation then at this time and then?
No, you can make
contract?
the,
No, I
you
think
can
we
make the
should do it.
motion to move forward with a contract and then maybe
Okay.
authorize the
So
village manager to sign it.
I'll make a motion for the village council to approve a 3-year contract with the Lions Club to commit $6,000 annually for the 4th of July fireworks and
4th of
At
July
the-
event.
event.
Yep.
And for the village manager to sign that contract, and I'd also like to stipulate receipt of receipts. In quotes in that.
Happy birthday, America.
Yeah,
We have a motion with support. Rhonda, may I please have roll call?
Hang on 1 second while I catch up. Okay, Robert Bishop,
Aye.
Teresa Gillespie,
Hi.
Richard Hamilton,
Aye.
John Osterban,
Aye.
Mackenzie Peters,
aye.
yes, here, Kevin Smith.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you, council.
I'll put something, we'll talk.
Yes, sir. I'll come
Okay.
to your office. I'll make time.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you.
We'll talk about them
Thank you
tomorrow.
very much. And just keep it in the back of your minds of an entity that could own this. And like I said, I'll come with it. I'll volunteer my time and my efforts to make that it works. There's a
Awesome.
good handshake and a good handoff.
Mr. Beck, thanks. Appreciate
you.
you.
Thank you, council.
You're
Thank you.
next also.
Okay. Moving on to petitions and communications, we have an event permit for Memorial Day Parade by the Lions Club.
I'm Karen Nicholson with the Lions Club, and we would like to have the Memorial Day Parade, May 26th, as we do every year. So we put in the event permit for that, so.
Route has been approved and reviewed by law enforcement, so
I believe.
that any objections whatsoever? All right.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion to approve the event permit for Memorial Day Parade by the Lions Club.
Support.
We have a motion with support. Any further discussion? All right.
So, and I just wanted to verify that we have support for like the road barricades. Yeah, all of the different intersections. And we also want to do Grand Rapids Street and Fremont this year. Because there was talk that cars try to scooch down Fremont to get to Irving, or Sheridan, I guess it is, Sheridan turns into Irving, prior to the parade, and cars kind of met the parade. So,
I'll speak over Central where we'll get something. So we used to want people to turn on Fremont and towards the cemetery from Grand Rapids Street.
yeah,
We'll get something figured out.
yeah, we just, want everyone to be safe, and so,
Fair. Thanks.
great,
All
thank
right.
you.
We have a motion with support. Any further discussion?
You already voted.
What's that?
Did you already vote?
No.
No? Well, I wrote that you voted, sorry. Move
We'll
along.
move on.
Move along.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Is that what you have written?
I did.
Rhonda's like burning through. She's like, I got dinner. I'm just funning.
It's been a week, sir.
Next one, we have an event permit for Middleville Pride.
Good evening. So this is weird being on this side of things. I'm Kim Dannenberg, and I'm here to ask for council's approval of our 2025. It's our third annual Pride event that we would like to hold on July 19th. And you have the application in front of you. If you have any questions, let me know.
July?
We're doing it in July.
Sorry.
All the weekends in June have been reserved by other people, so we're looking at July. So kind of spread it out a little bit.
I just had a couple of things.
Sure.
I didn't see insurance.
We are, I have obtained insurance. We just have to pay for it, and I plan on paying for that next week. Yeah.
If you choose to, you can just approve it contingent on that insurance being received by like the 16th of July, something like that. So we have time to deal with it if it's not here.
Okay.
So,
And then I guess, the item of discussion, I'm trying to how to word this properly, is that this is on our village property. And I guess I want to discuss calling it Middleville Pride. Because it's not, there are people in the town that don't think it should be part of Middleville. When I came to be treasurer or trustee, some of the people I talked to don't support doing it. I understand if you don't want to be involved, you don't have to go downtown. Okay?
Sure.
But I think but putting the word Middleville Pride in front of it assuming people can assume that we as a council have approved, and by approving it, so I guess I would discuss whether the word Middleville should be in the event. And then I guess I still have people that object to the drag show. Okay. The fact, when I hear people, well, we'll make it family friendly. Okay. I did a lot of research on drag shows today. It's an adult event. It's supposed to be for adults, usually in bars. And I agree with that. If that's what they want to do it in a drag, do it in a bar, but yours is out in the public. And again, if we approve it, we're saying we approve of that. So I would have a hard time proving it with those two things. If you would say no drag show and just call it a Pride Day, and not take the Middleville Day, I would feel better approving the event.
Sure.
Mr.
So
President,
go ahead.
I'd like to make a comment. I have the same feelings. One of the things that disgusted me from the last time was it started out to be a family-friendly picnic kind of thing and turned into be a festival when you read the paper. The other thing that I didn't like was one of the persons that was organizing this said that the council, Middleville, endorsed it. Even if we approve this, we're not endorsing it.
Sure.
But you can't control what people say or what people write. But that still sends a message out to the community what the council actually did or did not do. And so that's my objection to it. I know you have nothing to do with that.
No, totally.
So I'm not-
fair comments.
I'm not shooting at you.
No,
Okay.
totally fair. In regards to the drag show, the person that's on our committee, I guess we're called now, that handles that, she vets all of the songs ahead of time to make sure they are not family friendly. That term gets thrown around a lot, and everybody's idea of family is different, right? And what's family friendly. So I hate to make that blanket statement because what I think might be okay might not be okay for someone else. When I say family friendly music, I mean no lewd and lascivious language, swearing, and it's also communicated to the drag queens that the clothing that they are wearing is considered, again, family friendly. So that's kind of where that comes from. In terms of the Middleville Pride, I mean, all I can say is we just call it that because the people from Middleville are the ones that are throwing it. All of us that are part of this is Middleville, same as Hastings throws Hastings Pride. I don't know that it's a connotation that everybody in Middleville approves of it. It's just the title we've given. So, but I mean, I don't know that would be a big stopper for us to make a change to that if that's what the council would like.
But again,
You shouldn't
it's on
have
our-
to.
It is on our property.
Sure,
It's
sure.
on our property. You're using our sound equipment if you need to.
Mhm.
And I guess I have an issue with saying that you have to vet these people.
Mhm.
Okay, so if you have to vet somebody, make sure that they're being proper, then
We-
it shouldn't be allowed.
We do that because they are typical queens that do perform in bars and other venues. So making it known to them that this is not that venue. And typically we have the same ladies every year in the last 3 years. And to my knowledge, we have not had a complaint for the people that have actually attended the actual event. I think the concern came from people that hadn't attended. So in terms of the actual event, we haven't had, to my knowledge, Sergeant Ware's here, any complaints about the people that were attending complaining about what was going on. That's just, unless somebody else knows anything different.
I'll just say what I say every year, which is everyone has the freedom of assembly, everyone has the freedom of speech, everyone has the right to express themselves. As long as you're following laws, ordinances, and things like that, I don't see a problem like with any other event we have. You know, and opinions aside, that's not our roles on personal opinions. It's, are we upholding ordinances, laws, and policies? So that's where I'm at.
Actually, no.
I'll go ahead and make a motion.
Actually, no. I just wanted, I put a little cherry on top of this. I agree with everything that you just said. First and foremost, this council is sensitive, obviously, to the constituents who voted for us. And I appreciate that. And predominantly, this community is very conservative. We have multiple churches in the area that are attended every Sunday. And while we want to make sure that those voices are heard, and I think it's important that they are heard because those are the people that we represent. So every year we are not approving the festival, we're approving the use of our venue, and which is open to the public. And as long as it's a properly formed application, we don't need to endorse, and we are not endorsing any event, whether it's the Pride Festival or whether it's the farmer's market. It is a facility that is open to the public, and we are bound to the public that if it is not conflicting with any other reservation, that it is our obligation to allow the public to use that facility in a manner that is befitting public consumption. I know that we've had law enforcement on the wings just to make sure that things don't degrade on either side, whether it be the public or whether it be the festival goers. As a measure of safety, I would highly encourage that again, just to ensure everybody's safety. But I think just as a reminder to the council, we're just approving the permit. And I think that we're publicly stating that. We're not necessarily endorsing how the public uses it, other than as long as it is not lewd and is not against the law, they're free to use it for whatever manner they wish. So name aside, I think we represent a lot of different people in this community, and it's fair that we step out of our own sphere of influence sometimes and look at the bigger picture, which is we all live in the same community. Many of them pay taxes here in this community, and I think that it's just as much their right to use that facility as the next organization. So with that, objections heard, and I think to simplify this, we are just approving a permit. We're not endorsing, we're not agreeing with, we're just simply saying that we have a properly formed permit, and that it should be contingent, whoever makes the motion, should be contingent on insurance and a clear understanding that this is a family-friendly public event.
Yes, agreed.
I'd like to say one other thing. I have attended all the previous years, and of the complaints that I have seen through emails and such, A, those people did not attend the event. B, I was there the whole time and did not see any of what they complained about. And, you know, the other thing is, you know, God willing and the creek don't rise, I'll be there this year. So if you have a complaint, come up to me and point out the exact thing you want to complain about, because I would like to know if there is a specific incident that I'd like to know, because the complaints that we've had have not been founded. I've been there, they're not real. So I would like to know if you genuinely have a complaint. I will be there, come up to me, point out what you have a problem with, and we can address it. That's what I would like to say.
And just to say too, I mean, as someone who lives in this community, yeah, definitely. If there's something that needs to be noted that we can change, because the goal is, right, to bring people together, not divide. And so if there is something that we can do better, or if there is an issue, we definitely want to know, because it's for the safety of everybody. It's not just the people that don't attend, it's the safety of the people that are there as well. So,
Mr. President,
Yes, ma'am.
if I may,
You may.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the permit for the Middleville Pride on July 19th.
Support.
We have a motion with support. Any further discussion?
Just make that subject to obtaining the
Yes,
insurance.
subject to
Contingent on the insurance being
what
provided.
she said.
Also support.
I
All
did
right.
not write down the vote already.
We have a motion with support. No further discussion. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed?
I
Wait a minute. Where's my opposed?
Why don't you just do a roll call, Mr.
Yeah,
President?
roll call.
Yep, let's do a roll call, please.
All right. Hold on 1 second. All right. Tracy Gillespie,
Hi.
Richard Hamilton,
Nay.
John Osterben,
Nay.
Mackenzie Peters,
Aye.
Ian is not here, Robert Bishop,
Aye.
Kevin Smith.
Aye. Motion passes.
thank you very much.
Okay, and coming up next, I believe we don't have any ordinances or resolutions at this time, so we're going to move on to Mr. Stolzenberg,
We're
village
saving them all
manager.
for May 27th.
Gee, He's not.
Oh, great.
Bring dinner.
Good evening, council. Everybody's got my report, I hope. We received feedback on one of our grant applications for the Paul Henry Trail upgrades. We're getting answers back. We're actually meeting tomorrow to discuss some of those answers, and we're getting those answers back. They're due May 23rd. I believe that one was for the MDNR grant. I'm not sure. I think that was the one anyway. So hopefully we'll have some good news about that coming up soon. While I was gone, the cleanup days happened on that Saturday. They took about the same amount of garbage out of the community as what they've done in the past for about 2/3 the price compared to years past. So I sent that report out to everybody, so hopefully everybody had a chance to look at that. We'll meet with Republic to, fine tune some things, but I think, try to keep doing something similar moving forward. And, hopefully it gets on people's radar and maybe they'll, plan a little bit better as far as being able to get the things to the dumpsters and stuff like that. But I think it went really well. So.
How many dumpsters, I think if I remember correctly, it was 20, how many large
21.
dumpsters? 21
21 loads
dumpsters.
that went out.
Yeah. That's incredible.
It was
That's
a lot.
incredible.
Yep.
That was a lot of work for the DPW that were
Yeah.
assisting as well.
There's 3 guys down there that heard it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That would just encourage people that really load up to cover it.
It's supposed to be We're supposed to do
I
that.
wrote you a note.
You did, and I
and,
appreciate that, yep.
God, I could hardly handle that door. The wind was blowing and blew me right out in the street.
That's such a big point. Again, our fine tuning, I think we should certainly make sure that the trip to the facility, that people are being responsible.
Yeah,
So,
for
yeah.
sure, yep.
Education.
Yep, absolutely. Other than that, I sent out another email regarding the Berry County Fair. If anybody could, please sign up if you could. I think that's about it, unless anybody has any questions.
Well, I guess I signed up, but I guess what do we do down there, I guess?
At the fair?
smile.
Pretty
Oh, okay.
much,
It's good times.
yep, yep.
Tell
good
them you're
times.
from
My
Millville.
It's really cool. It's frigid in there. Not at all. And wear shorts.
Yeah.
And you get to smell popcorn the whole day.
It's the
Yeah.
pecans too, right? Like,
I was
oh
gonna
my
say,
gosh,
It's the
Those
sugar
nuts, yeah.
roasted nuts down at the end. That's
Yeah,
what's
and then
so-
It's
devastating.
in your nostrils for a week.
Yeah.
It's devastating. I love it. Love it.
All right, thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Mr. Stolzenberg.
Yep.
Mr. Belson.
If I'm not already signed up, Bradford White.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, wait, if anybody does wants to-
And Alec, next time you come here begging for money, I want to make sure you wear a tie.
I will. I think I own one. I'll find one.
We can rent one.
As long as you have one on, Kevin.
Right, right. It'd be a cold day.
So good evening. You have my report in front of you. Just one quick kind of pointer out. Irving Road Phase 1 bids did come in, and did come in considerably lower than engineer estimate, so we were pleased to have that. Low bid came in at $1,056,000. So had total 6 bidders on that. So pending your approval later tonight, looking at contractors potentially starting in mid-June on that. And then also, I just want to bring to council's attention, it is my goal, I'm working on getting contractors, and kind of fighting rain and scheduling with contractors. But to have the 2 of the trees on Main Street removed next week, later this week, and then concrete installed beginning of next week. If I cannot make that happen prior to Memorial Day, we're not going to tear the trees down or anything. It's going to be back fully in concrete before Memorial Day or nothing at all. In preparation for nothing at all, and the heavier foot traffic that we have downtown right now, and because the sidewalk is raised, we did put a couple cones out by the trip hazards and paint it with orange paint. So no, that is not our fix. That is hopefully in the next 7 to 15 days, as soon as I can, I'm going to get everything ripped out and replaced. But I just want to publicly say, no, that's not our fix. That is a temporary solution until we can, in the next 7 to 15 days, get everything fixed. So perfect. Any questions for me regarding my report? All right, thank you.
Nope, thank you. Sergeant Ware.
Right, good evening. Any questions about the numbers from last month? Right. So some of the highlights for April for us. April was a big training month for us. The biggest 2 I've noted, about half our whole agency and all 3 of the Middleville unit personnel were able to go to a mental health training specific for law enforcement. It's called Right of Bang. It's based off a book that the Marine Corps uses called The Left of Bang, which is the preparation prior to the event. The Right of Bang is how do you handle after the event. So if you think of a timeline, left side's everything that happens before. As you move down, then you have your event, and then everything that happens afterwards. So kind of a cool title for what the training was, but very, very well received by everybody that was there. And we also had Deputy Price go to a hostage negotiator training. So we have that here in the village now, which is nice.
Nice.
Big thing, I'm Facebook famous now for apparently holding up the school lines. We did a education event, partnered with the schools where we handed out flyers for the new child safety restraint laws that went into effect on April 2nd. For those of you that don't know, that is now that ages under 2 have to be in a rear-facing car seat. 2 to 5 or 2 to 4 have to be in a 5-point harness car seat still. Once you reach the age of 5, you can go to a booster seat until you're 8 years old or 4'9". And the biggest part of it is under 13 has to sit in the back seat now. You used to be at 8 years old, you get out of that booster seat, you can go to the front seat. You no longer can. You have to stay in the back seat until you are 13 years old. So
Unless the car is full, correct?
if your car is full of other children,
Right.
then yes, the oldest child can move to the front seat. But if your car is full of 3 infant seats
Right.
and you have a 3-year-old that should be in a forward-facing 5-point harness, that 5-point harness seat still has to be in the front seat. You can't skip the car seat part of it. But we've addressed that, and your car being full of clothes and bags and
Right.
things like that does not count. So you have to move those things. Those can go in your front seat. The kids have to be in the back seat kind of thing. So that was a very well received, even though there was some complaints on Facebook about it. Overall, it was very well received. I got compliments from the schools saying that, specifically Paige and Lee, that they have none, if maybe 1 or 2 kids that they're catching in the front seat now, where before it was, especially at Page, it was almost every single car dropping off had a kid in the front seat. So that was a good event for us. Big news coming up. Let's hope this construction project starts, and you say mid-June, so we can hopefully avoid some of the traffic coming into the village. But Rock the Country event, they did not get the farm field that they thought they were going to get for parking. So we're back to looking at extremely long traffic jams, both before and after. There was a miscommunication. The people hosting the event told us that they got it. The people that own the farm field said, no, we said we'd discuss it, and communication fell off, which we're discovering is the big issue right now. Is the people running the show do not communicate well. They undersell you on stuff because they want you to think it's going to be this nice, warm, fuzzy event. So we're planning for the worst and hoping for the best. But as of right now, there's over 20,000 tickets sold for each day. Originally they were saying about 6,000 cars. I think they're over that for pre-tickets for parking. They keep changing where the stage is going to be, so it's going to be fun.
What days are these?
I believe it was June.
Father's Day weekend. isn't it?
Yeah, it's that Friday, Saturday, 13, 14, something like that.
I'm going out of
Trial
town.
launch day for Irving Road, though.
Yeah, Irving Road got backed up really bad. If you guys didn't know, we had a gravel train tip over right at 37, just
Oh, I
north of
heard
Yankee
that, yeah.
Springs Road. So they rerouted McCann to Irving, and yeah, it was a good trial run. So
Every major road in Middleville will be under construction during that concert. Just to close the perimeter, right?
If council's, if I don't have to wear a tie when I ask for more money to do these things,
Tie won't help you.
I mean,
Alec.
what, in your, and I don't want to cut into your report, but I mean, it's going to be a nightmare all the way up all major arteries, I can imagine. So
yeah, Friday's going to be let's see how it goes kind of thing, and then we'll be able to get together early Saturday morning and talk about it, readjust, and plan better for Saturday. But we honestly don't know what to expect. That's the reality of it. We have some things in place right now. Our entire department will be working. We'll have our posse coming in. We'll have our reserves from up here helping out. I plan on working about a 16 to 18 hour day, both those days. So it's going to be long. It's going to be gruesome, but we've got MDOT on board. We've got controllers for the lights. So we'll be able to hopefully work on that a little bit. But yeah, it's just one of those things that it is what it is.
yeah.
I hate to use that term, but that's where we're at with
Once
it.
people get there, they're gonna be at the ground, at the fairgrounds. It's not like they're gonna be all over the place all the whole time.
But the contingency, the issue I think is the contingency planning and the parking,
Right.
where like, how does something like that get approved without a solid plan for that many cars in this community? I don't track that.
I'm not-
I'm just complaining
What's the capacity?
to hear
Is that
myself
what you know?
complain.
Too
but-
bad they can't shuttle people
Outdoor
from
venue,
one,
it
like,
really is.
this is overflow parking, we'll shuttle you
Outdoor
from
venue.
point A to point B.
They've tried working some of those things out. They're still
Yeah.
trying to work on some things. Unfortunately, the communication is really terrible. So it's got the potential to be a great event for this community, right? I mean, that is what it is. There's an opportunity here for us to have a old-fashioned birthday bash type event, which is great, but with it comes a lot of headaches and stuff that our end deals with. DPW Road Commission has to deal with, MDOT has to deal with. But we'll see. I mean, I'm hopeful that things will go smoothly. State police are taking care of the venue itself. We're dealing with the traffic side of it. We're going to do what we can, but there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be unhappy trying to park on the road or on the side of the road to get in, at 5, 6 in the morning, and we're just going to tell them, keep circling. That's all we can do. We're not going to let them just sit on the side of the road. So, but obviously we're, a little bit of ways. They should have another update before the event happens at next month, and we'll go from there. But, and then the last big thing I wanted to talk about, also hit the Facebook chatter and the news a little bit, is we had a pretty serious event here in the village on April 27th. This was a post-prom party that we are investigating as an attempted homicide right here in the village. So it's an isolated incident. We want to emphasize that there's no threat to the general public. It's being investigated by our agency as well as the Middleville unit, as well as our detective bureau out of the main office. So
Okay.
we're working on it, but there's no threat to the community is the biggest part we want to emphasize.
I have a question. Nothing that pertains to your agenda, but has the FLAC system gone in and how's that been working?
All but one camera is up. We're still waiting on access to the system.
Okay.
So there's apparently a issue with getting me access.
It's a trust issue.
Working through it.
Yeah, it's something that an issue with that they're trying to work through. I think what it is you don't typically see a entity like a village that has a contract using such a thing. So like when you guys went to Lowell and you visited them, the village of Lowell is the village of Lowell. Their PD is theirs. So I think what it might be is the fact that you all have Village of Middleville domains for your email and stuff. We have Berry County domains for all our stuff. So I think there's a crossover issue with the way it's set up for it's the village's system, but the Berry County Sheriff's Office is going to be the one that has the access to it. So we're trying to work through the technical side of that, but they are up. I know the first 2 they installed are live. I believe the other 3 they installed are live, and the one that's not up, there was an issue with Mystic marking the wrong spot.
Okay. And then I had the pleasure of completing, I graduate next week, the Berry County Leadership, and I was at the 911 dispatch, and I had an opportunity to speak with them on the FLAC system and what that's going to look like for them. And I'm just going to put a little bug in your ear about potentially linking them in or having that discussion with the director about maybe giving them, if it's possible, access, just because it can enhance that teamwork.
Yeah, there's
abilities,
some
so.
discussions we have to have. We're still trying to finalize policy on it anyways.
Okay.
We kind of there's a lot of generics out there. We talked with some of our neighboring agencies and see what they have. The hard part is limiting access to prevent potential misuse.
Right.
That's the big concern coming from my administration. My initial goal was to have all our supervisors and the Middleville deputies have access. Because we always have a supervisor on. If not, we always have access to a supervisor. And with the Middleville people being here, I'm not here when they're working typically until we get our day spot filled back in. So they would be right here where the cameras are at and be able to have that quick access to it. So we're trying to work through some of that stuff. Like the state police, only their detective sergeants and above have access to it. So they can provide the information to the deputies or for them, the troopers and things like that. But the ones that have access to the actual system at the state police is detective sergeants and higher. Different agencies have different levels. I believe Lowell PD lets all their officers have access to it. So we're just trying to
Navigate
work through
that.
some of that.
Okay.
Sounds like lawyers. Sergeant Weird, thanks.
I
Appreciate
have a
it.
question.
Yes, sir.
The seatbelt thing,
Yeah.
is that like a primary stoppable offense?
Yeah, so again, for Michigan, not just Michigan, but nationally, the only thing I need to stop somebody is reasonable suspicion that something has occurred. I don't have to have, we talk about like burdens of proof, things like that. I don't have to reach like probable cause. I don't have to reach beyond a reasonable doubt. It's just reasonable suspicion. So if I see somebody sitting in the front seat that, in my opinion, is under 13, I can stop them for that. If I see somebody sitting in the back seat that I believe is under 8 years old, or under 4'9", and I don't see them in a booster seat or car seat, I can stop them for that. It's a civil infraction. It's not something that will ever turn to a criminal offense unless there's neglect built into it.
I asked because after the event, I got some complaints from people in the village about a gentleman that drives a golf cart up to soccer practice with his baby in the front seat unsecured.
Okay.
And apparently they've been calling and have not gotten any sort of response from the police. And it's a consistent thing. So I'm just wondering, you know, if we can't even see a golf cart on the road, how are we going to pick out seatbelts?
So just like any traffic stop, we would have to see the person. We would have to know who they'd have to be on the road. If it's the golf cart that was called in about this last weekend, contact was not made with the person directly, because you're talking a sea of over 100 people at a soccer event, and to try to go person to person, figure out who it is basically impossible. Plus, with the current no ordinance on ORVs, and it defaults back to the state law, we can't actually stop a golf cart on private property. We can't stop, which the school is private property. We can't stop, and if somebody wants to take their mini bike and zip it around their yard now, we can't stop them for that. We can only revert to the state law, which is dealing with roadways. So if we see, to
Certainly,
further
at
your
some
question,
point, he's got to cross the roadway to get off the
Right.
soccer field.
again, we have to see it though, right?
Yeah.
So we have to see it in order to do something about it. If we don't see it, we can't necessarily write the ticket. Now, there's certain things we can. So for example, somebody running the red lights on a bus, we get a formal form that the state has. It's a, you try to guess the number, I can't remember what it is. I think it's like OC 17 or something like that, that the bus drivers fill out. They give it to their transportation director. The transportation director forwards it to us. That's a state form, and it's accepted in the state of Michigan, that the bus driver can be the eyes of the violation as long as they can identify the vehicle itself. When it comes to seatbelt stuff, I actually have to see them without the seatbelt on. I can't just, even if, or the ORV stuff, the golf cart stuff, we can all assume we know they came down the road, right? But to stop them on private property, I would have to be able to track back to how they got there.
I understand that, but if you know, if I know that every time a soccer practice is going to happen or a game's going to happen, the guy's going to drive up the road on a golf cart, I can pretty much grab an ASO schedule and know where to put a guy. If we're getting complaints from the public, why don't we do something like that?
Because the only complaint we're getting from is from a former council member. That's the only complaint we're getting. And it's while the vehicle is sitting at the soccer place. There's nobody's calling about when it's on the road. So if they call while it's on the road driving, which I know other council people have done in the past, other village members have done in the past, when they're on the road driving, we try to respond and find the vehicle, and we do stop it. And if we need to cite, we cite. If my deputies feel an education is more important than a citation, they have the discretion to do that.
Are we able to write citations on all of our ordinances yet?
Yes,
Okay. When did that happen?
a few months ago,
Yeah.
Okay.
before, I think it was around the beginning of the year is when we finally got that finalized.
Right.
But
Yeah,
again,
Gary.
even though we can, and I'm not trying to downplay what you're saying, because I agree that there are times for citations, I can't tell my deputies they have to write those citations. I'm not allowed to tell them they have to. They're allowed their discretion. So even if I go out there and say, hey, I want you guys to stop these cars, and I would prefer you to write the citations, they have that discretion to make that judgment on if they do or not. And I can tell you 99% of the time, they choose education over citation, even on most traffic offenses. That's just the Berry County Sheriff's Office kind of unofficial policy is education over citation.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Sergeant Ware.
Thank you,
Appreciate
guys.
it. Looks like the next thing we have on our agenda is Mr. Belson. Oh, liaison reports. I missed that one completely.
Planning Commission, we discussed how we'd go about studying the ADUs, accessory dwellings. And Doug's gonna bring that together on the 12th of May at the ordinance committee. They're gonna start working on the language for that to bring forward.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they'll bring it forward here. And the other thing was the master plan update. And we're charged with marking up the master plan that we have now, suggesting not a complete rewrite, but simply updating it. And it appears that most of it I went through today is a tremendous amount of census data. I gave my marked up copy to Doug, and he's gonna need some help on this. We're liable to have to contract somebody to help do this. It's a big job.
Big job.
Just updating is a big job. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right, so for the library committee, we don't have a meeting this month, upcoming, so we don't need to worry about any updates since my last update on that. The TAPRC, Catherine, has done a doodle poll. We have a couple meetings that we are, coming together to discuss, the next steps for the 5-year rec plan renewal, which I think she copied Craig and or Rhonda on, so if you guys need me to re-forward those meeting times and stuff, I can do that, but if she hadn't, I'll forward it to you.
Me either.
Okay.
Extra meetings, just the regular meetings.
No, we had scheduled another one upcoming here, and we have one, I think it's next week, as a matter of fact. So,
Never seen that, but.
all right. I
Might
will
be a good idea to resend it.
Yep, I will resend it. And then, obviously, we'll have our appointment discussion coming up. And then I met with the Heritage Day Committee meeting yesterday. All those details, we discussed on events that we want to do that will go before the DDA next week. The DDA meets next week or the week after?
They meet.
Next.
Or
Next
first
month.
Tuesday. Oh, right, okay. So Cassie will bring all that before the DDA to finalize that and probably have a permit request before you at that time and subsequently a parade permit request upon that, so.
For any other words?
Just that we're having the household waste event Saturday from 9 to 1, where everybody can bring tires, electronics, computer parts. So from 9 to 1, and that isn't free. They do have a suggested donation for tires and electronics. A couple of bucks. I'll be there all morning counting cars. So it'll be here.
And that's at the fairgrounds, right?
Yeah, it's at the fairgrounds, yep. 10 tires per car, I think.
Okay.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
People sneak in with a lot more tires than that.
Yeah. I bet.
How do they
Per.
get that many?
I don't know.
Just as a DDA update, they are still working through, move the discussion for the wireless, piping wireless into
Sesquicentennial.
thank you, Park. So we're still gathering information on that. Parking lot F, Mr. Powers is looking at cost estimations and alternative designs for that. I don't know what dumpster screens are, but apparently,
The, yeah,
That one.
that was funny.
oh, okay. Let the public note that they were pointing into the back parking lot.
Oh my gosh, it's been a long Tuesday.
So the dumpster screens are
The walls.
the
around
walls,
dumpster.
you're right.
Yes.
Okay.
Enclosure.
The doors that open and close
I
and stuff
gotcha.
like that, so people.
Well, I rebuke the name of them being screens. I should have just called them walls and doors. So there we go. And then I think the DDA approved, I think this is a good idea. They definitely passed a motion to allow entrepreneurs. So if you're a small business, you can attend the farmer's market and just get a pass for that, which I think is neat. It does expand the farmer's market a little bit in terms of just bringing more people down into the center and giving them the opportunity to get exposure. So I thought that was a neat idea at its inception. And I think that that's a good addition to the farmer's market, just to expand its footprint a little bit. That's the DDA. Any other discussion before I skip another point on the agenda? New business. Now, Mr. Belson, please.
Good evening again. Like I spoke during my report, we thankfully had 6 different bidders for the phase 1 of Irving Street reconstruction. The highest bid amount was 1.5 million, and then Georgetown Construction came in at $1,556,919.63 as a low bid. If you remember, Georgetown Construction did do the Dearborn Street reconstruction for us. I thought they did a good job on that.
Could you reiterate that amount from Georgetown? I think you added a decimal to that.
$1,056,919.63.
There you go.
Is that
He said
63?
63 cents. You said 560.
Oh,
So
my bad. As noted on the attachment in my packet.
There you go. Can't go
just for the 1 or 2 people in outer space that are listening.
So yeah, they did do the Georgetown, or they did do the Dearborn project for us. They came in on a reasonable time frame. No major concerns with that project. You do have Williams & Works bid recommendation letter from them attached in your pack, along with the bid tabulation forms from each contractor that bid on the project. And if council were to approve this, project would be tentatively to start in mid-June.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we approve the recommendation made by DPW Director Ellie, according to what it says up there.
Support.
Excellent. We have a motion with support. Any further discussion?
Just a note that funds are being coming from LDFA for this
LDFA,
project.
yeah.
Thank you.
That's already been approved.
Further discussion? All right.
Can you,
We,
you need that motion also to say that the village manager can sign the documents,
Yes,
correct?
allow village manager to sign all related documents.
Yes,
There you go.
very good.
we have a motion with support to ensure that the village president can sign all related documents to the request in the
Village
amount
man-
of,
Village manager.
what did I say?
President.
Whatever.
Eh,
Let me restate.
Thank you.
We have a motion with support to allow the village manager to sign all associated documents in relation to the request for the amount of $1,056,919.53
It's 63
for
cents.
phase
63 cents.
63.
It's
53 cents.
63.
Man, as printed, for phase 1 of the Irving Road reconstruction and water main replacement project.
It's all good. I know what you mean.
And may I please have a roll call?
You certainly can. Richard Hamilton,
Aye.
John Osterbon,
Aye.
Mackenzie Peters,
Aye.
Anna's still gone. Robert Bishop,
Aye. Sorry.
Tracy Gillespie,
Aye.
Kevin Smith.
Aye.
Sorry.
Keto is hard,
That was
man. I'm
rough.
getting foggy.
That was rough.
And that includes sidewalks where appropriate.
Yes.
Sidewalks were appropriate,
and
yes. So
curbing.
sidewalks, we're past this, but just to give council update. Sidewalks will go from Main Street all the way to, I actually put it on here. I was gonna say the old Ski Hill entrance, well, 6 entrance, which is approximately in front of 161 Irving Road.
Wow.
And then the same goes for the curb as well. Curb will start at Main Street and run all the way down to just past 161 Irving Road. It's not going all the way up to the village limits. The main concern with that was once you get past 161 Irving Road, the topography and everything that it would be quite expensive to do any storm drainage through there. So we're just gonna crown the road and let it do its natural runoff, what it's been doing for less.
150 years.
Yes. Rhonda, may I please have a roll call?
We already did.
You're
We already did.
Oh, never mind. Good Lord.
I was like, wait, did I fake that too? No.
We started talking about it
It's
again.
good.
All right.
You're fine.
All right. Alec, would it be an agenda change if I just had you finish your DPW and then we'll
Yeah.
go on to the TAPRC
You
thing?
see fit? I'm fine with that. Okay, so what council has in front of them, it is a request for the council to consider approving for DPW to purchase a new pickup truck not to exceed 63,000. Just a couple side notes on this. This would be replacing our 2004 F-450. This truck is 21 years old. It is showing various signs of age. We have been able to make it through, but it's well past its replacement life. Also, just to keep a few key notes, the bid that you see in front of you, that is a bid that is from last August. I am working on an updated bid through Berger. I was promised one by this afternoon. I did not get one. But he assured me numerous times over the phone, if I were to get this approved and get this ordered before the end of May, we can still order a 2025 model and there would be no price increases. So he's assuring me what we paid for the truck. The truck we bought in last part of 25, we'd be paying same price for the truck we'd buy right now. So that's why I provided you with the quote that I got back in August of last year and just an amount just to give me a little wiggle room of not to exceed $63,000. I can definitely provide council with another quote once I get it, if they shall like. Also with the one quote you have in front of you, we do participate in the My Deal program. My Deal program is a bid program throughout the entire state. So if I go and quote this exact same Chevy to any dealership in the state that is part of this My Deal program, I'll get the exact same price no matter where I go. The My Deal program saves us a considerable amount of money, depending on what we purchase and what we buy, anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 on a purchase for vehicles.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion that we approve the purchase of a DPW pickup truck not to exceed $63,000.
Support. We have a motion with support. Any further discussion?
Alec, what's this part about if we do it every year?
So, yep, so that is our goal. That is, I'm sure some of you have seen our new truck. It is a little bit nicer than what we have for what we need for a work truck. The goal is resale. Other surrounding communities have been doing this for probably the last 5 to 10 years. What has been my understanding from these other communities and speaking with them, they are selling them, buying them, and then turning around and selling them the very next year. And they may be losing $2,000 or breaking even or making about $2,000 when they're selling that 1-year-old truck because of the My Deal discount we get. So the thought process is we get a truck, we buy it for resale purposes or buy the quality of the truck, depending on, we're not buying a single cab work truck, we're buying a crew cab work truck. Looking at the resale value when we go to sell it, so then we can buy a new truck for $1,000 or nothing, don't cost the village any dime. And year after year, we have a brand new truck and we have $0 in maintenance.
Yeah,
That's the thought process is saving the money in the maintenance.
You talked to us about that a
Yes.
couple months ago.
Just to put it into perspective, so if we did this over the course of 20 years, it'd be $40,000 if we lost $2,000 every year versus in 20 years spending $63,000 to buy a whole new truck that has aged out.
Right.
So we're
Right.
essentially over the same amount of time.
Plus other ones that are.
Right.
And-
And we're keeping our fleet.
And not forget any maintenance over that lifespan of that truck that we would incur.
Right. And so we're not just saving maintenance costs, but we're, cutting our cost of having to buy a new truck once it's depleted, it's whatever we can do to it. We're saving a third of the cost to that,
Mhm.
and we're keeping our fleet new and up to date, so.
Correct. And everything's constantly under warranty for the most part.
I'm going to do with you like I do with Craig a lot, and that is, how much would you figure you spend on maintenance for each vehicle every year?
Well,
Combined, collectively.
Combined on all vehicles?
Mm.
This is gonna be a big number because some of our vehicles, we can spend a lot of money really quick, probably about $40,000 to $60,000
A year,
a year.
so.
And the reason I say that is there's a few pieces of equipment that we have that you guys have seen quotes on. It's nothing to spend $15,000 on one repair.
Right.
So,
I was gonna say, wasn't it 15 grand to swap out the tanks on the Vector truck?
yes.
Yeah.
And that's to purchase the tanks and in-house labor. That's not
Yeah.
paying anybody to do it. That's,
Well, that might be it. I mean, these are predominantly pickup trucks that you're
yes,
talking
pickup,
about?
yeah, so pickup trucks, we're doing brakes, tires and oil changes. Prime example on the oil changes, we'll buy a 60,000 mile tire. We'll get 1.5 to 2 years out of those tires. That's it. We are not putting 60 to 70,000 miles a year on the tires. It's the fact that we are going 25 miles an hour the entire life of that tire and returning constantly. So you're pretty much putting the tires in the worst possible conditions you can put them in for wear. So I get about 1.5 to 2 years out of a set of tires. A set of tires for a truck that size, and that is probably about $1,200 to $1,400.
So there you go.
Times 4, right? Or
And the goal right now, so you guys approved this one. If you guys were to approve this one, we had the one that we just bought.
Yeah.
So then next year we'd be selling those two and buying 2 more new ones. And then I think there's gonna be a total of 4 trucks in our fleet that we're gonna be doing this. My goal would be to every single year replacing those 4 trucks. So
I guess
if everything works out and we
Yeah.
can sell them for, correct.
I mean, the final decision, I think, is going to be made once we monitor. And if it plays out exactly as you state,
Right.
where we are within that band
Mhm.
of what does it take to maintain a 2004 pickup truck, it's never a small repair once those things start to go bad. So I love the idea. But I think, and I would be glad to participate in that sort of thing, but I do want us to pay attention to that.
Mhm.
Um,
Absolutely.
Simply because it would be very easy for us to just roll that over. And maybe we should be doing that with Berry County too. With it.
Well, I was just gonna add, our road commission does this program.
Mhm.
All their,
they?
so outside of their specialty trucks, like the plow trucks, the big tractors and stuff like that, all their actual work trucks are through this program. So that's why we went from all red trucks, now you see silver trucks, black trucks, blue trucks, they don't care about the color. In fact, the one that you guys are using up here, it's got a rollback, or whatever they call it, it's just
Yeah.
a little thing that sits in the back that has the light on there, so it's quick, you don't have to run a bunch of wires and stuff like that. Our road commission beats on those trucks, and they're making money every year when they sell them.
Really?
Yeah, they've been doing it for about 10 years and I don't want to quote numbers, but they're making money or breaking even every year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
You
impressive.
just have- you pretty much just have this downtime from when you get, so, 2026, you sell these 2, right? You have to have that cushion of, we buy these 2 new ones, and then we put these other 2 up for auction. So you do have to have the upfront funds to do it, but I can tell you Hastings is doing it. Our road commission's doing it, and it's very successful for them.
Nice. Well, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Scott.
And again, the cost over a 20-year, worst case scenario, that 2,000 loss doesn't even touch the maintenance, like you said.
Right.
And even if we don't factor in maintenance, it's still a third less than what
Yeah.
we'd pay for a brand new car holding on to one for 20 years.
Well, we do have a motion with support, if I'm
Yes.
I
clear.
think you do.
We didn't vote on it yet.
And I think we've killed this. We've talked about this truck replacement program quite a bit, and I'm glad that you're getting them for sure. It's going to be good. I've seen the gray old mare getting pulled down the road on the flatbed because she didn't make it back to the home. So
That's half of the time or two.
We have a motion with support for the village council to approve a new pickup truck for the DPW not to exceed $63,000. Rhonda, may I please have a roll call?
John Osterban,
Aye.
Mackenzie Peters,
Aye.
Robert Bishop,
Aye.
Tracy Gillespie,
Aye.
Richard Hamilton.
Aye.
Kevin Smith.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passes. All right, moving on. My favorite item of the night. So Thornapple Area Parks and Recreation Commission appointment for Mr. Ray Rickert. Just a lead, and if you guys want to discuss it more, that'd be great, and gals. I think Mr. Rickert is of the highest quality of individuals, and he's very driven and certainly qualified to be part of this organization. I highly recommend him as well. He, just from personal experience, my family, two of my family were in band, and both of them absolutely adore him. And it would be, the TAPRC would be a better organization with him in it. So with that, any further discussion or?
He's ready to go.
Yeah.
His feet are hitting the ground.
Yes, indeed.
Mr. President, I'd like to make the motion to approve the village appointee to the TAPRC, that is Mr. Rickert, to the Board of Thornapple Parks and Recs Commission. That was kind of backwards, but yeah.
Support.
Yeah.
I got it. I'll support it. We have a motion to approve the appointment of Mr. Ray Rickert to the Thornapple Area Parks and Recreation Commission to fill an unexpired term expiring December 31st, 2026. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. All right, in your packet that I know has been deeply reviewed this week, we have boards and commissions, draft minutes of the DDA meeting, which outlined some of the things I covered, draft minutes for planning commission meeting of May 6th, informational items and correspondence, none, public comment. All right, none. Final council comment?
Can I add once
No?
before, or go ahead? Either way.
Go ahead.
Okay. Before, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. So we do have July 31st on the books for the Bradford White Tour. If you are interested, Mackenzie, she just told me. So if anybody else is interested in doing that, starting at 9:30, it's a Thursday, and we'll wrap up probably around 1 o'clock. So if anybody's interested in that, let me know. And also, we're looking at having a joint meeting on an off Tuesday, so it'd be June 17th, Tuesday, June 17th, and we're looking to include council, DDA, township, and planning and zoning if you are all available. If you could check your calendars on that and let me know, then we can schedule that with Doug and with Eric at the township.
Maybe 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
6 or 7. Yeah.
Okay.
Any idea what the agenda will be like, and how do we plan on moderating that appropriately?
So the goal is to look at goals for both organizations or all the organizations, shared goals and visions, and then I was going to and Doug moderate that, and then we can move from there. So the township was interested in having a conflict resolution trainer there also, maybe. So maybe if that's available, I don't know, but we'll have something.
Conflict resolution.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you
Anyway.
think there's so much?
Conflict.
Do you think we need one? I mean,
I don't necessarily think that, no, but that was an idea that came from the township.
We've got a new president now. We don't have conflict.
I do think we need, I think we do need to have a solid agenda
Mhm.
before that meeting, is scheduled, to be quite frank. And I really do believe that, that we have action items, that we have a result of that meeting. It's one thing to get together. And believe me, I support it. I am looking forward to collaborating with the township. But I also think that we should be targeted in the items that we cover, and certainly in order to have a strategy, we need to have topics to have a strategy on. So I think that might be a really helpful thing to maybe, even if you and I, maybe we work with Eric and just get that together.
Yep, one item that we were talking, Doug and I were talking about anyway, is having Nathan from Williams Works there to give an update on the Main Street updates and the DDA TIF plan update also.
Would it be
during that
possible
time,
to
so.
have a representative for the TAPRC to attend that meeting as well,
I'll be there.
as well as the library committee?
I'll be there.
What's that?
Maybe one other person?
Maybe.
You know, Mr. President, I think goals and visions is plenty. I think we mix this other thing in there. That ought to be all by itself. The other thing meaning conflict resolution. You can get off on a rabbit track there that will take us away from this.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to certainly, and my vision is that we move beyond
Yeah.
us disagreeing and start moving in a direction where we do agree.
Yep.
And I think that that's going to be a lot more productive for us all, for sure. Mr. Hamilton,
Yes, sir.
final comments.
I'm ready to adjourn.
Okay, moving on.
Same.
All right.
I'm really looking forward to that joint meeting on the 17th. I think that will produce a lot of good ideas and solidify vision going forward. So I really look forward to that. And that's all I have.
Tracy.
I would like to know, the new sign, it looks great, but I didn't see anything about any of our meetings on there. Especially like today, the day of the meeting, you think you'd see village council, 7:00, to remind people, because it's just to do everything we can to get people in here to remind them. I know it was an app, I've always wanted to come down here, but I didn't even think about it sometimes until after dinner and I'm doing dishes. I'm like, oh, it was meeting time, no reminders. If I don't see it, a lot of people are probably like that, they're busy.
Well, you missed all the fun in the last 2 years.
Well, we can program that from the office, right? They could just.
There's limited,
I so support that. We just spent a pile of money on it, so let's use it for sure. And what a great opportunity. Good point. Good
And
point.
Steve, the township, in the spirit of camaraderie, see if they would like that posted for their meeting.
we we need to keep it a little bit limited just because, you're only going to see so much when you're sitting there at the light you might see a lot when you're there waiting to turn left into downtown, but otherwise, if you're driving by, you're not gonna see a whole
But the red
lot,
light
so.
too, you're stuck at the red light both ways.
It rotates messages, right? So it's.
Yeah,
Yes.
it rotates. I was sitting there at the light
No,
headed towards
yep,
Shell.
not very quick.
You see it rotated 3 times.
On a day like today, I could program it to remove, like if we needed to remove
Yeah.
something about something that's happening in 3 weeks, I can remove that
Yeah.
for today and just have.
The council meeting tonight or something like that, yep.
I just think that's a great idea.
Absolutely.
What a great idea. Yep. Mr. Bishop.
June does put those on our Facebook page too.
Right, but, a lot of
So use
people
the
are
sign.
at that intersection all day, every day.
I agree.
Can lead a horse to water.
Mr. Bishop.
I have nothing.
Nothing.
I have something real
Mr.
quick.
President.
if you don't mind.
Please,
Before we close out,
absolutely.
Is a recommendation, I've got that training this weekend in Bay City. I look forward to that, just to see what I can learn from that, so.
I love it.
Yes, Tracy, I'm getting ahead of you.
I know it, you're gonna be ahead of me, I'm gonna be behind.
You guys are both going to it, right?
No, I had to cancel, they're gonna credit the
Oh.
because I have the household waste the same weekend, that Saturday morning, I have to be there 8 AM, and I'm never gonna make it from Bay City
Got it.
down here. So I just have to go to the next one.
Enjoy Bay City. That's great. Every week, every time we have a council meeting, I'm so encouraged by the forward momentum that we're creating, not only here for the village, but also just to bring up the township. I'm very excited about that. And these are things that get things done. We have done a lot of great things with the trail. We're certainly moving in a good direction there. I think when the library committee, once we start getting to that point, I look forward to those conversations. And I think that TAPRC inclusion in making sure that we're, again, just joining arms and moving together in the same direction. This is all things that allow for our community to get better. And granted that we don't have to always agree on things. I'm not asking for that. I think good discourse is a key element of getting to the core of whether or not an idea is good or bad. But I am very hopeful in where we're headed, and I'm excited to be part of it. So with that, I think a motion is in order.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
With a motion and support, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Meeting adjourned. Mr. Bishop? I am in full support of your grilling of Sergeant Ware.